Alright, today we're going to do a review of the Snow Wolf M24. I picked this up off of eBike. I think I paid right around $100, so maybe it was $89, and I bought some BBs with it. I got it on sale. As you can see, I've done some modifications to it. The tape here, I actually, the screws in it that you can see right here, I'd actually shipped them to my buddy that bought another M24, and it didn't come with stuff, so I had to buy some aftermarket screws. That doesn't affect the gun in any way. So I've taped up a couple of things because I hate noise in the spring, the slings and stuff, as well as in the stock. It just drives me nuts. So we're gonna go through what I've done to the gun, the way it was stock, as well as some overall thoughts on it. And then we'll do a little a range test as well. I've got a couple of different BBs that we can use. I've got .30s, .36, and then .4. The last two, 3.6 and 4s, are black BBs, so I might set up something metal to shoot at. But I think you'll be able to see the 3.0s. They go a long way. I think you'll be pretty impressed. How the range I've got. I've only done minor upgrades to it. I could have spent a lot more money, but honestly, for what I use it for right now, it does perfect. Okay, guys, let's just talk about what it came with when I bought it. Straight from the factory. Came with one magazine. This is like probably a 20-round magazine. Came with a little BB loader and then a little adapter. Came with a sling, little sling mounts, the adjustable stock and everything. That's all that it came with, and then a little pack of terrible BBs that you never want to use in any gun. These are the .30s that I've chosen to shoot out of it. This tag on here, you'll see in a lot of the guns that I use in the reviews. I've taken this to the field, played with it. It's shooting at 399 FPS, which puts it in the AEG class. Allows me to have I can shoot, the close range. It's like a minimum distance of 20 feet. But yeah, maybe a lot of other snipers out there get 550, stuff like that, crazy. It's not always about the velocity. It's definitely about how much air I can shoot through the actual gun, what's in the cylinder here, and then how good your hop-up is set up. So I don't have crazy high FPS, but I can shoot 250 plus feet, and pretty accurately too. If I didn't think it was accurate enough, I would not have really scoped it. I might have put a red dot or something, but it's scope worthy. That to me means if I can put a scope on it, I can hit a human-sized target at that 200, 250 foot range within 1 or 2 shots. And the heavier BBs, I've had some 3.4s that shoot a little bit better out of here. The 3.0s are just a little bit light. We're going to go into some of the upgrades I've done. So I bought I think it comes stock with like a 450 millimeter inner barrel. It's just a brass stock inner barrel. It was probably only this long. It's only from here to maybe right in here. And actually the inner barrel is only starting in here. Right at this point in the gun is where the hop-up is. So you only actually have from here to like right in here of inner barrel. I did buy a new aftermarket Angel Custom barrel that this little flash hider covers. It comes up to right about in here. So it's an extra 50 to 75 millimeter longer than the stock. It's a Tightbore 6.01. The only complaint I've had about the gun at all is this loading system. It sucks. I don't know how else to say it. It is just the most miserable way to load a magazine. You do want to have extra magazines. These are pretty cheap. That's one thing that's good. Carry extra mags with you. I haven't bought any yet, but they're only like $10 to $12 a piece. Just loading them with this is just stupid. I don't know. Like, if you're going to carry this in the field with only one magazine, you lose this piece, you're going to be out there loading for forever. Especially if you're, you know, unless you can just sit down and chill out and eat a bag of popcorn and load up your magazine. Most of us don't have the luxury of doing that. I wouldn't even want to do that, because then it would make Airsoft dumb if I'm sitting out there being that lazy to load a magazine. So that's the only real complaint, is just the loading of them with this horrible thing. And if you lose this piece, you know, you're done. Just go back to the truck and hang out. The mounting system, I have a smaller scope. This is just a CV Life super cheap scope. 4x32, it's a fixed power. It's a little Airsoft or air gun scope. I have it only mounted on one end because obviously it's not long enough to bridge the two. I could have gotten another riser or something, but it's Airsoft. You know, maybe I might hit a bush or a twig or something, but I'm not gonna jam this into a building and crush it. If I'm playing in an urban environment, you know, maybe I'd want a sturdier mount. I play in the woods. I'm pretty conscious of where the gun is. So I'm not worried about getting the scope out of whack or anything. I tend to stick with a fixed power scope, simply because the glass, if you're buying cheap scopes, you can get a better optical image out of a fixed power than you can out of a variable. That's just, unless you're willing to spend stupid money. I don't see the point spending the same cost on a scope as I do for the gun. Not worth it to me. Especially if I can hit my targets just fine with a little fixed power scope. Let's go into the actual spring, the bolt, everything like that. The cylinder that's in here. I have not done anything to the spring. I have shot it a lot, so it was probably shooting out of the box at like 430, 450, and that's what it even says on the description I'll send to you on the website. So I've definitely broken the spring in. I think it's kind of settled in there. You can upgrade all that. The only thing about upgrading this that's been frustrating was finding the correct hop-up unit. Buckings, of course, are easy. Barrels are super. They're just AEG style barrels. I will send you the hop-up unit that I bought. I'll put that in the description. The other thing that was a pain was the barrel threading, the inner threading for this, for the outer barrel, so that you can put a mock suppressor or anything on, is an APS-2. It's a custom style thread. It's not a VSR-10. Finding the correct mount for this, as you can see, I've got stupid tape on it. Finding the correct mount for that was just, it's online, it's on Evike, but it's never in stock. And it's like, you know, it's just, that's one thing that's been frustrating, is finding certain parts, upgrade parts has been a little bit frustrating, whereas other platforms, there's a lot more parts. That's just something to think about. Doesn't mean it's a bad platform. I like the M24 platform. Obviously, there's a couple other ones, the Barrett styles, you know, there's just a lot of other ones out there, the VSR-10 platforms, a lot more aftermarket parts. So that is just something to think about when you do want to upgrade your sniper rifle. You're not going to want to play with them just stock. They're doing fine, but you can get so much more out of them with just a couple upgrades, less than $100. And you can turn it into something that's really capable. So let's go and get into a range test shooting video, and then we'll do some final thoughts. All right, so we're going to do kind of a shooting trial. These are the .30, and you'll see I'm not adjusting the hop up or anything for this video or for any of the BBs that we shoot at the white bucket that I'm going to zoom into. You'll see that these have a slight amount of hop on them. You'll see them curve up just a little bit. What I prefer out of a sniper rifle is actually a slight amount of drop, where it shoots super flat and then drops a little bit. It lets you actually get it a little bit more accurate range because you can get your dope a little bit better on the target. So the current range right now is 50 paces, so it's roughly 150 feet if it's 3 feet for a pace. There we go. I hit the base. Hit the bucket. Hit the bucket. Alright guys, so the .36, those BBs, like I think I've had better luck with 3.4s. I bought like a little 500 pack one time. It's dropping like a rock. It's not even really worth the time going into that, even shooting the .4s. The one thing about these sniper rifles is the spring in here after several hundred shots, thousands, maybe 1,000, couple thousand shots, is they wear out. They lose their, you know, so you will lose some velocity over time. They will wear down pretty quick. So being able to buy new springs, buying springs for these M24s is pretty easy. So I might get an upgrade kit. If I do that, I'm replacing the whole cylinder. Or I'm gonna go all out and probably try to get around 550 FPS out of this thing. At least, I think the better upgrade to do first is the inner barrel Hopup and bucking. So that way you have a good platform on to build off of the FPS increases and stuff that you're gonna get out of a new cylinder and spring and everything. So let's try it at an extreme long range. I'm gonna try to go to 200 and 250 feet. Just beside it. We're right now at 200 feet. Hit. Oh, just to the left. Pretty much hit it. That was very close. All right, I'm hitting the can right below it. I went on to the right. Just to the right of the bucket. Hit. Again, we're shooting at that little white bucket. It's about 300 feet away. It's getting close. Yes! I can't believe we got it. So, yeah. I mean, it's definitely got the range to get over there, but this is about all that it's good for. Okay, guys, I want to do a little recap on just the long distance shooting today. With the M24 Snow Wolf Airsoft rifle. It did pretty good. 150 feet, 200 feet was fine. To be honest, I would need some heavier BBs. I've got some issues to do with the Hopup because they're consistently going over the right a little bit, which means something in the Hopup or the barrel is actually canted a little bit. Other than that, I mean, yeah, it can shoot 300 feet, but you know, is it going to be repeatable where you're going to get the accuracy you need? I don't know. You know, that's kind of up to you. You can probably do that, but I definitely think 150, 200 feet, 250 feet is very easy to do. It's even with just a 4x32 scope. I thought it was great. I have not shot the gun that far yet at a target, so I did feel like, you know, it did pretty good for the amount of money I put into it, the upgrades, and not doing anything to the spring or cylinder or anything, I feel like it performed pretty well. I think I've got right at or less than $200 in this gun, and to get that kind of accuracy and range, I'm pretty pleased with. So all in all, it's a great, beginner opener sniper rifle to get you in the world of sniping. If you decide you like it, buy something that's more upgraded or spend some more money. There's other platforms, including this one, that you can fully upgrade. So something to think about. If you haven't done a lot of sniping, it's definitely a different gameplay, different process. If you don't, I wouldn't go out there and spend a ton of money if you don't know you really like it at first. Just because it is a little bit different. I tend to be a little bit more of an aggressive player, so I haven't done so much of the sniper role yet. But I plan on doing more of that in the future, and I'll have some videos of that as well. If you guys like the channel, like what's going on here, give me a like, and as well as subscribe, and give me a comment down below if there's something you want to see. I'm trying to go up to this weekend to go wheeling again. I'll try to go play some Airsoft here again soon. We'll break this bad boy out, and we'll just keep the action coming.